All right. So on our last episode, we're going to open up Unity here. We're going to see what we were working on. So on our last episode, we got music going. We got a music visualization system kind of added into our fog layer. Looks a little glitchy at times, but actually it looks really cool at times too. There's something hypnotic about it. And yeah, it's pretty sweet. I like the way that it's looking. I like the way that this thing is turning out. So, anyway, when we die, and we've got high scores, and we've got, low scores, and we've got a title screen, and it goes back to the title screen. We've got all sorts of good stuff. So, the problem is right now is our game cannot be published on mobile right now, because we do not have any input stuff that mobile does. Right now we're using left and right on the keyboard, and there are no, there's keyboards on them, but they, actually, forget if they changed the way keyboard stuff worked in Unity. There was a time when you actually couldn't do keyboard stuff even with a Bluetooth device on a Android or iOS, but that may have changed. I'm not 100% sure. I remember when I ran into that, I thought it was very bizarre, because what had happened was I had gotten a little gamepad device that just emulated a keyboard, and I couldn't actually get keyboard input out of Unity. But they may have changed that. I am not sure. We're not going to worry about that, though, because our game is going to be using touch input. So, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to focus on getting the gameplay touch stuff working first, and then we'll add more stuff later. Later tonight, we'll probably be hitting menus and stuff using a very similar set of scripts. So, what I want to do is I want to make a script that basically is designed to catch touch input and try and hit things in the scene with your touch. And the reason being is that way we can just set up a couple colliders on the screen however we want to determine what gets touched and what's input. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, and we're going to create a new C# script. And we're going to call this, I'm going to call it detect touches and clicks is what I'm going to call it, because we're going to detect both so that we can do this stuff. This way we can test it with a mouse and also test it on a device. So we're going to go to detect touches and clicks, and it's nice and empty, and it's scary looking, because this one's going to be one of the more complex scripts that we've done on at least this miniseries. But it's not terribly complex. We're just showing new things. Again, this series is a crash course. So the most important thing is to see all the tools that we have available so that you can do more research into other ways to use them. A lot of these tools can be used in a multitude of ways. We're just using them for very basic things. So I'm going to create, let's see, what do I want to do with this thing? I think we're going to use this, we're going to basically pass messages in some way, maybe. We'll see how this works. But first, I just want to make it so that we can touch an object in the scene and get information about it. So we're going to go into the update loop here, and I'm going to write the. I think I'm going to write the mouse code first, and then we'll move it into the touch code. So what we're going to do is if we click the left S button, we're going to pretend that if you don't click, you don't have a button. You don't have your button down. So if input.getMouseButton, and I don't want to actually use down in this case. I want it to just be, if we're holding on the screen, we're continuing to input things. So if you do getMouseButton without a down or an up, it will just return true if the mouse is down, false if it's up. GetMouseButton down returns true on the first frame that the mouse is down, and then if you keep holding it, it just doesn't return anything. It returns false. And GetMouseButton up is the same deal, except for when you release it, it triggers. So we want to know when our mouse button is being held. So input.getMouseButton, and you give it a button. So we're going to give it 0 for left click. This is going to be basically our touch emulation. And if things get reflowed and you don't want it, just hit Command Z and that'll fix it. So, or Control Z if you're on Windows. That also stands for undo. It's in this menu, just in case. All right, maybe your Z is broken. So, input.get mouse button down to 0. So if the user is now touching the mouse button. So what we're going to do is we're going to send a ray into the screen to basically collide with colliders to see if there's something where we touched. And there's some convenience methods that the camera class has that we can use to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to do camera.main. This gets our main camera. I'm going to type in ray. There it is. So we want screen point array or viewport point array. So we're going to use screen point array because we're going to actually be using the mouse input, which gives positions in pixels when you ask for where the mouse is. And screen point uses pixels. Viewport point uses a percentage. So basically 0 and 0 is on the left side of the screen, 1 is, or wait, is 0? Yeah, 0 is on the left side of the screen, 1's on the right side of the screen, and then I think it's 0 on the top of the screen and 1 on the bottom. It could be reversed on that one, but we don't want that one. We want screen point array. So this takes a position. I'm going to actually look up the information because I want to double check some stuff here. Screen. Actually, wait. If you hold command or control and mouse over something and you hit the apostrophe key, it will not do anything. Hold on. If I just do like this, okay, maybe you have to actually have it completed or something. Unknown resolve error. Okay, whatever. Usually that opens up the documentation, but naturally it doesn't want to do it for me when I'm on the show. So what we're going to do is we're just going to search for screen point to ray. And so screen space is divided in pixels. Alright, so the Z is ignored. So even though it takes a position 3, it just ignores the Z. So, and actually the position we want is very readily available in input.mouse position. This actually is also a vector 3 for some reason. And I guess that's the reason they made screen point array a vector 3 as well. So if we just do this, we'll get array. And we need to use this ray somewhere. So I'm going to store it just temporarily. Ray equals camera.main screen point array input.mouse position. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a raycast, and we're going to check to see if we've hit something. So if physics.raycast, and we're going to give it our ray, but we're also going to want to give it a few other things. There's a lot of variations of this call, and some of them have more or less information than others. We definitely want a ray and hit info. Those are the things that we need. So ray and hit info right here. So we're going to, but we're going to need a hit info. So we're going to have to create a hit info. Wait, no. Hit raycast hit. Okay, so it's not a hit info. It's a raycast hit called hit info. And we're going to just call this hit. I like calling it hit. And then we're going to do out hit. The reason that we're doing that is because it's actually going to be setting hit with information. And then we are going to give it, we don't have to give it anything else, right? Yep, that's all we need. So, at this point, we know that we have hit something, which means that hit will have information in it about what we hit. So what I'm going to do for right now is we're just going to do debug.log. I'm going to say object name, and then do plus hit dot game hit dot collider dot game object dot name. Actually, I think I can probably just do hit dot collider dot name. There we go. And then I'm going to also give it the hit dot collider dot game object here as a second parameter debug log. That makes it so that if you click on the debug log, it highlights whatever we clicked on in the scene. So I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to scoot this over to the other screen. And we're going to hit, we're going to put this on something. So I'm going to create a new game object. I'm going to call this touch manager is what I'm going to call it. We may have more than one script. We may have just one script. We'll see. So we're going to put this detect touches and clicks here. I'm going to go ahead and put this underneath the game manager. And in theory, if we hit play, I'm going to leave the console up and I'm going to turn off maximize on play. So we're moving around, and if I click, you'll see that it says a few times, because remember, this is on not on down, but like if we click and hold, it'll say pillar. We can say ground. See how it's doing that? And if you click on it, it shows the object in the hierarchy. Although because things keep getting generated, it's kind of hard to see. So I'm going to just pause it. So we can click like hero protagonist, and they shows up there. So these are the things that we're hitting with our rays. So this is working. So this is a good sign. So now we can click things in the game scene and see that they're doing things. So so that's great. Now what else are we going to do? So I'm going to leave this like this, and now we're going to work on the touch version of this. This is the non-touch version. And actually, this logic will likely be the same. So I'm going to split that out right now. I'm going to do, what should we call this? So what information does this need? It needs array, and it needs... I'm not going to do that yet. So we'll just duplicate it here, and then we'll clean it up later if we want to. So this is going to be... I'm going to actually label these. This is the detect objects clicked by mouse. And this one is going to be our detect objects touched by finger. So in here we're going to do if input.touches, or touch count, is greater than 0. So that means we have a finger on the screen. Do we want to support multiple touches? Let's go ahead and support multiple touches. So what we're going to do is for each input.touch, wait, input dot, come on, input, oh. Why are you doing this to me? I'm going to hit save. And let's try this again. For each input dot I'm just going to save this. I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit play. I just am curious. Okay, compiled. So what's your problem? Input.get. Okay, there we go. So input.get. Sorry, input.touches. So we're going to do for each. Oh, I see what was wrong. It didn't want me to do that thing. So for each touch in input.touches. This means we're going to iterate over every touch that we have. And actually, we technically don't even have to do this if statement up above here. I just realized that because this will just do nothing if there's no touches. But I'll just leave it there for now. So we have a touch, and what we're going to do with this touch is basically the same thing as here. I'm just going to copy and paste this for now, and then we're going to clean it up so that it actually works. So screen point array, we now need to use, instead of input.mouse position, we need to do touch.position. And I want to double check what touch.position actually works like. Position unity. Touch.position. So this is in pixel coordinates. Perfect. The only thing that's not perfect is it actually returns a vector 2, which actually is better than, like, the mouse position should return a vector 2, but it doesn't. It returns a vector 3. And screen point to array, for whatever reason, requires a vector 3, so we need to tell it that this is actually just a vector 3. So it will just pretend that it's a vector 3. It'll just, the ZO value on this vector 3 that it gives it will just be 0. So we do the raycast hit, and then we are going to just debug log once again right here. So I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to hope that this Android device is finished charging that I've got here. Alright, it looks like it's actually going to boot up. So this is going to be a little hard to do on the screen, but I'm going to give it a shot. So we're going to switch back to my face. We got this Android thingy. This is a Nexus 7, I think. Yeah. And we're going to be installing Unity Remote on here to test our touch code. So Unity Remote is available on Android and iOS, so if you have an iOS device, just install it just the same way, well, similar way that I'm doing here. I might actually even show it on the show because I've got both with me. So So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Google Play Store. So that's, I guess it's in the corner here. And I'm going to search, the little search icon up there. And then we're going to do Unity Remote and search. So we get some results. We want Unity Remote 4. And we're going to install it. And it needs access to camera and microphone. That's interesting. I'll just go ahead and hit accept. So they're going to be looking at us, I guess. Enjoy your app. Sweet. So why is it... Oh, and then it wants me to confirm my password recovery options. Whatever. All right. So it's downloading, I guess. Let's see how long that's going to take. Do I even have internet on this thing? I guess I have to. How do I tell what's downloading? I'm real good with these things. Unity Remote. I don't see it there. Could go back to the Play Store. Well, there's this blue bar that's cruising across the screen. While this is going, I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the screen, and we're going to see what comments we've got going on. So, are we going to be registering for the Oculus in this series? Potentially. But yes, it does require Unity Pro. And I hadn't intended to do it, but Justin has expressed interest in showing it, and actually it's super easy to set up Oculus support, so we might just do it. But I want to do that kind of at the end, so that we can, because it does require Unity Pro, unfortunately. So, dynamically scale to the frequency of music after touch input. Yeah, well, we're going to be changing the way that the visualizer stuff goes. We might not be doing that today. Hey everyone, just played Vanguard V for the first time earlier, sadly only the 2D version for now. Holy crap, what a beautiful game. Thank you very much. Oh yes, and there is a 2D version now, so that you can test it out on your machine even if you don't have an Oculus. It plays with your mouse or touchpad, and it plays pretty well, but like it feels really good on the helmet because you just look and things happen. But yes, today's episode... Oh, you were hoping today's episode would be about touch. Well, your hopes and dreams have been answered. Does Unity support iOS 7 Gamepad API? I believe that it does. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't tested it because I hate iOS 7 with a burning vengeance, and I have been avoiding upgrading to it just because I just can't stand the visual look of it. And it makes me sad because I may have to become an Android person. But we'll see what happens. And actually, I'm not dissing Android people, and that's not what I mean. I just mean that like my primary device is going to be Android, and I really liked iOS, but it is past tense at this point. Standing. Why not input.getTouch? It is a touch tutorial. We are doing getTouch. Just give it a moment, because we need to be able to test it in the game as well. So, this thing's still downloading, though at least it has a percentage. There we go. Now it's installing. So, I'm going to switch over to the face again, and we're going to open this thing. So I just opened Unity Remote, and connect this device with a USB cable to your computer. Press play in the Unity editor to test. Alright, so this is no longer wireless. It used to be wireless, I swear. So I'm going to switch it so that we can see both. Hold on. Main screen. No. Main plus cam. Here we go. So, we're going to go over here, and I'm going to hit play. And nothing happened on Unity Remote 4. Select a device to use and edit project settings editor. So let's try this. Edit project settings. I haven't actually used 4 before, so I'm excited to see how this actually works. Editor. And Unity Remote device. I'm going to do any Android device. I guess you have to switch between the two. You can't just do any device. That's kind of silly, but that's okay. But we're doing Android for right now, so we'll use an Android device. So if we hit play, still nothing. Maybe I have to save scene, save project, play. So I wonder if this is actually being affected by, I had this thing set up for development, and I'm going to disable USB debugging and see if that fixes the problem. On a device that you haven't set up for deving, this won't be a problem, so I'm not showing exactly what you need to do here, but we will go over it when we actually start testing a game on this device. Like fully testing. Where is the Unity remote? There it is. I'm going to put this on the home screen somewhere so we can launch it. Alright, so let's give this another shot. I'm going to hit play. Nothing. I'm going to unplug the device, plug the device back in. I'm going to hit play. I'm going to quit Unity. We're going to open Unity. And then I'm going to hit play. Well, this is not going so well so far, is it? These things do happen, so let's see what we got going on here. Any Android device, sweet. Press play in the Unity editor to test, and this is what I did. And it doesn't seem like this shouldn't be rocket science. Here, I'm going to Alright. Any luck? Come on. Alright, let's look online for some questions, answers real quick. And then otherwise I'm going to be switching over to the iPhone and see if that works any better. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and start downloading Unity Remote on the iPhone right now. Going to the App Store. And again, I'm on old school iOS 6, but it'll be somewhat similar. Just a lot more white space, although right now it's just a white screen. There we go. We're going to do search, and I'm going to grab Unity Remote. So it's searching for it. I probably can't see the screen at all because it's a really tiny little device. And I want Unity Remote 4. We're installing it. And that's installing. So while that's installing, I'm going to see what we're doing here. So Android, Unity Remote 4, not working solution. So let's see what happens here. Oh, we need the Android SDK installed ahead of time, I guess. And we do want USB debugging. Alright, so we needed the Android SDK installed. So if that is the case, I'm going to switch over to just doing the iPhone for today. We will show this on an Android device later. I'm just not, I don't have the downloads ready for the SDK for Android right now. Alright, so while I am waiting for... Is this actually installing yet? Come on. Okay, there we go. Bar's moving. Alright, so while I'm waiting for a moment on that, what are we going to fix or change? So eventually this thing's going to have to do something different. I'm going to actually go ahead and start doing that different thing now. What we want to do is we actually want to send a message to an object that's been touched. So we want to say send message, and we're going to call this touched. We're going to call it touched in both cases because what I'm basically doing for the mouse button stuff here is just emulating touch input. So send message touched dot send message touched, and we want to send it, and this actually we don't want to just send it to us, we want to send it to our hit dot collider dot send message touched. and we don't want to require a receiver. So send message options don't require a receiver. What this means is if we touch something and it doesn't do anything with if we send this message and it doesn't do anything with it, we don't throw an error. You generally want this on things that could be touching a lot of different things, but also it's sometimes nice to have it on. It's sometimes nice to have the error just in case you don't know that you haven't attached the script yet. But I'm going to just not require the receiver at this point. So I've got Unity Remote 4 on the iPhone now. I need to get up for a moment to get a cord. So I'm going to plug this thing in. We're going to plug it into the computer. Going to probably have to stop it from opening some stupid programs like iTunes or image capture. Sweet. Quit image capture. And we're going to open up Unity Remote 4. And then we're going to go into project settings. Oh, here it is. And we're going to select any Android device, any iOS device, I mean. So we've connected it. I hit play. Oh, whoa, we got something. We got something. So there's our game running on the phone. And so now I'm going to go into our console here. And if we touch things, there we go. Pillar, if we touch the player, there's hero protagonist. There's the ground. So we've got that going. And actually, if we like touch a pillar and hero, we will just get hero, it looks like. I wonder why that's the case. There we go. Pillar and hero protagonist. So you can see that it interleaves. We actually are supporting multi-touch. I'm not sure if that came up on the screen very good. Let me just show it up again real quick. So we got whoops. So hero protagonist, ground, and if you do both, you get both. All right, cool. So that was nice and easy. So we now need to actually control the character using this. So we're going to have to create another script to support that. And we're also going to have to probably change our input system scripts, anything that uses the input manager right now. I actually do have a pretty good touch manager that I wrote, but I'm not going to be using it for this series because I want to show everything we put in. So we're going to just do this from scratch here, and it's not going to be as crazy as the one that I wrote. It was designed to be pretty general purpose, which the more general purpose something you make, the tougher it is to actually get everything going. So I created a new behavior script. We're going to call it let's say, what do we want to call this? So I'm going to call it I'm just trying to think of how I want to actually organize this. Sorry. Let's call this pseudo input on touch. And I'm going to spell pseudo right because I like to spell it wrong a lot. And we're going to copy and paste this because there's no way I'm typing that again. Although we're probably going to be typing it a few times. So what this is going to do is I'm going to void touched. So this is again we had just created this on our we sent a message called touched, and so what we want to do here is we want to somehow send a message that we are moving left or moving right. So I'm probably going to have to make one more thing. I'm just going to create another C# script called sudo input. And we have Jeffrey here. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. We're doing touch input. So I'm going to save this, yeah, sure. And we're going to go into sudo input. And what this thing's going to do is, since we only have 2 buttons, I'm only going to worry about 2 buttons. I'm going to have a public bool, I'm going to say left pressed equals false. Public bool right pressed equals false. We're going to have to access this thing somehow, so I'm going to do what we did kind of with our singleton pattern. This is going to be the basic one again, so we're going to do public static sudo input instance, and actually I'm going to look at our game manager just and do the whole shebang. Why not? We'll just do this whole thing instead. And we need to change the type sudo input and sudo input, and then sudo input here, and we should be done with our little accessor thing there. And then finally, what do we want to do? Let's go ahead and on update, we're going to set left pressed equals false and right pressed equals false. And actually, I'm not going to do it on update. I'm going to do it on late update. This means, oh wait, no, that's probably a bad idea. Yeah, because that means that we'll probably have. No, this will be right. This I think will work. We'll change it if it doesn't work. So I'm going to hit save. And this basically just makes it so that no matter what, we change our inputs to false at the end of a frame, and our pseudo input on touch stuff should send the messages earlier. We'll find out if this actually works. We may run into a little bit of a race condition, but it's not a big deal. So what we're going to do is, so on pseudo input on touch, we're going to say sudo input. Oh, and we want to actually specify between left and right somehow. How are we going to do that? And actually, do we have some compile errors here? No, it doesn't look like it. Just, I see a lot of red for some reason all of a sudden. Huh, whatever. So we need to specify whether it's left or right. So let's create a quick enum. We're going to do, and I always forget how to do enums, so I'm going to look it up. C# enum.
Public or private enum with curly braces.
What was that? Oh, is that just how it is?
Oh, and the name of the enum.
And then, oh yeah, no quotes. Okay, cool. So we're going to call this a private enum left or actually I'll call it direction.
Input direction.
Yeah,
or
and
direct
pseudo input direction.
Could just be direction if you're just going to have left and right. Then, oh well, it's private, so it's only on this.
Call
Could be
yeah. I could have gotten away with any of them. I'll just make it really explicit. And we will give it 2 states. It's going to be left and right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a public pseudo input.
What about both? Or if it's both, is it going to send it twice?
If it's both, it'll be sent twice by 2 different objects. So public pseudo input direction. This one I'm just going to call direction. And so then we're going to do pseudo input dot. Oh wait, not pseudo input. We want pseudo input direction. So sudo input dot instance dot left pressed. So what we're going to do is if direction equals sudo input direction dot left.
I think with the enums, it automatically brings up the enum types. You can just hit enter after the equals.
Okay. And then if direction equals sudo.
So that's where you could have
hit
enter again.
Enter? Okay. Dot right. And for some reason it's not fighting me on the curly braces right now, so that's good. Oh yeah, and we have to actually tell it something. So we're going to say left press equals true. And then we're going to do down here right press equals true. So we're going to hit save. And then sudo input on touch is less accessible in the field. Okay, whatever, we'll make it a public enum, I guess. Does that fix it? Okay, thank you. Alright, so what are we going to do now?
That made sense.
Did it?
Yeah. You can't have a public variable if the type isn't public. Then nothing outside of the script would understand what it is.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, good point. Alright, so we have sudo input on touch, so I'm going to put this on... I'm going to put sudo input on... Actually, I'm not even going to bother because we've got this thing auto-instantiating itself, so we don't even have to worry about it. Although I do want to change something. I just realized I didn't change the name here to sudo input save. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a couple of colliders that cover the screen. So I'm just going to create a empty game object. We're going to give it a physics box collider. And I'm going to move it forward in front of the camera. Oops. And I'm going to move it to the right, or move it here. I'm going to go to game and turn on gizmo so we can see it. And we're going to scoot it so that it's basically aligned 0.5 and make it a bit bigger. Okay, well, I'm going to have to realign it anyway, so I'm going to do 3 by what? That should be plenty, right? 3 by 1.5. And then we will move this over so that it lines up nicely. We're going to do 1.5, so have 3. And I'm going to go ahead and make it thinner. It doesn't have to be, but we'll just make it, oh, well, and then we'll make it closer. There we go. -4. There we go. So let's see how that looks in the scene. Yep, right in front of the camera. And I'm going to call this right button. And I'm going to duplicate it, and we're going to slide it over to the left. We're going to call it left button. So this is -1.5. So now if we select both of them, we should see that it exactly splits the screen in two. So that's nice. And then what we're going to put on here is we're going to add component. This is the same as dragging a script over from here. And actually, I'm going to get rid of my face for right now because I probably am blocking stuff at this point. So we're going to click add component, and we're going to type in sudo move left and right. Sudo input on touch. There we go. This is the one we want. And on the right button, we're going to say right. On the left button, we're going to say left. And so we're almost there. We are almost there. I know this is a lot of setup for this, but bear with us. So the only problem now is we actually need to detect this input stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to move left and right, which I think actually we're going to go to sudo move left and right, which ironically was already named that. And this is the this is the one that. Oh wait, no, we want input. We're gonna want both actually. So move left and right. What we want to add here is it's an axis. Okay, so we're gonna have to change our logic a little bit. So because I just set this up as buttons. So right now we're using an axis to determine moving left and right. So we're going to call this based on keyboard input. And I'm going to leave it here so that we can still use it. And then additionally we're going to do, so theoretically if you had a keyboard and a touch screen you could double the input. I'm not going to worry about it for right now. We may add compile flags later so that can't happen. But we're going to do transform dot, actually we're going to do if sudo input dot instance dot left pressed, and it did that thing again. Just Command Z or Control Z if you want to not have it do those things to you. So sudo input dot instance dot left press, and so we're going to do transform dot position plus equals vector 3, and I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to do dot left times speed times time dot delta time. And then I'm going to copy this, and we're going to put the same thing here, except we're going to say if right pressed, we're going to use vector 3 dot right. And we're going to hit save. And then we're going to do the same thing on our sudo move left and right. I'm just going to copy this information here. And what we're going to do instead is we're going to change the main texture offset. And this one we're going to do it in a vector 2 dot left, and we need to not enderer, we want renderer, and renderer once again, and vector 2 in this case. So if we hit save, theoretically, if everything compiles, which it didn't, there is no vector 2 dot left for whatever reason, so we'll do vector 2 dot right and put a negative in front of it because that's the exact same thing. Save. Alright, so now, if all goes right, I'm going to put my screen back up here. No, not that one. If all goes right, we should be able to move the character left and right. Well, we're not really moving the character, but you know what I mean, by touching the screen. So, here we go. Moving to the right, moving to the left. Beautiful. Worked the first try. Isn't that wonderful? Usually when I change that many files, we're in deep, deep trouble, but we did actually pretty good on this one. So, am I getting some erroneous input? No, I think I just had this up here. And if you press both at the same time, you don't go, so you can actually kind of release play as well if you like that. We made it multi-touch, so it basically is actually moving you left and right, and then you end up in the same spot before this frame is rendered. So sweet, I'm going to go ahead and save scene and save project, and we're going to check this in because we haven't checked anything in today. So source tree, and we're going to drag this up here, and I'm going to hit commit, and we're going to push commits immediately to origin, and I'm going to have the commit message of touch input for main gameplay implemented. And we're going to hit commit. So that's awesome. We got some touch input going on. I'm going to go ahead and check out how the comments are doing. And we're going to hit refresh. Let's see. USB debugging needs to be turned on as well. USB has to be, yeah. Alright, so quite a physical episode tonight. Yes, a little bit. I guess that was me picking up, getting my devices and stuff. That's awesome. I touch it. Super cool, Mr. Max. Alright, sweet. So, looks like we got it going. So, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of our debug logs on what we're touching, just because I don't we don't really need that much debug spam on there. And this stuff actually works now. So where was that stuff? On the was on the detect clicks and touches, or touches and clicks. And all I'm going to do here is what was I doing?
Commenting
Oh yeah,
on debug logs.
yeah. We don't need the debug logs. I'll leave them there just in case we need them later. Because I always end up wanting to know what we're touching, because it was like, it's not working, and it's just because I forgot to put a script on or something. I'm sure the people in the audience have seen me do that before. So again, we've got this thing going on. Sweet. 15 minutes left in the show. What would people like to see? Oh, I guess we can start. Oh wow, it actually resets the game just right too. So hold on, if I die. Evidently, any key works for screen touches as well. So if I press a button, yeah, it works too well. Actually, it flashed the. Here, let's see. If I do this and I touch once, yeah, it just flashes right through. It's interesting. So let's see if we can fix that. So right now, do a quick tap. Does it go? Okay, it goes. But for some reason, if I hold it down, and I swear we were using any key down. Okay, so let's see if I touch it like a key on the keyboard and hold it. Once I die here. Okay, it does actually eventually go to the next scene if I hold it down. That's not what I would have expected. So let's look at our script for that. So I think that's in our game manager.
It took longer on the keyboard, though. Does the
It
keyboard
did.
do key repeating?
It might be. It might be doing that. So what were we doing? If input.any key down. So I wouldn't think that would cause a repeat in either scenario. But we're having trouble with it. So, and again, it's not as big a problem on keyboard here. I'm just going to die again. So if I just press a key, I'm going to try it one more time with the touch, and it's just going to be awful, and I just want to make sure before we start fixing things. Yep, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to put a statement here that makes it so this stuff, this input.any key down, happens only on our editor and Windows and Mac builds. So if application dot platform equals runtime platform, so you just hit enter and it gives you that, and we want wow, there's a lot of them to choose from, aren't there? So we want OS X editor, if application.platform equals runtime platform OS X editor, or I'm going to paste this thing in again, dot Windows editor, or application.platform dot equals runtime platform dot so Linux player, it's going to be a lot of these, or dot oh god, there's Metro player as well. I'm not going to worry about some of these just yet. Let's do no, because then we'll be jammed up later. Let's just do it all.
Is there a do they have more generic ones like mobile or editor or
application? I don't think they do, unfortunately. Application dot platform Actually, maybe dot is, what do we get here? Is editor, is plane, is web player. Yeah, that doesn't help us.
Is editor.
Well, is editor would get two of them, I guess.
What about, would you recommend using application platform over an ifdef?
I generally do. Theoretically, the ifdefs might save you on logic. It's not going to matter on this game at all. I usually use the runtime platform stuff.
It's not going to matter in this case either, because it's just when you're tapping the screen.
Yeah. Okay, or what else? What else do we have? We need dot Windows player. There's a Windows web player. Oh, come on. I mean, I guess hold on. Let's see if there is an easier way to do this. Hold on. Platform is mobile Unity. I'm gonna try see if someone.
Application is mobile.
Is there a is mobile equivalent? And I don't think is web player would have existed. Application.platform will tell you what you need. Yeah, that's not enough for is mobile, but yeah, I guess we should probably actually write this into a function. So let's do it. Let's do this right so that we have it better for later. I'm just going to put it in here for now, but we should probably have this in a more public place.
Static.
And this is in JavaScript here, so we're going to convert it to not JavaScript, which is by doing this. Done. And I'm going to make it capital because it's a function. And I'm going to safety first this and make it so that... what is this trying to do to me? Oh, I know what it is, because I didn't finish my statement above. So we're going to be copying and pasting from there. I'm just going to deal with this for a moment. Actually, this is probably a better way to do it, the multi-line way that they set it up here. So we're going to follow their example so that we don't have things running off the screen. I just honestly expected it to be like more like 3 things, but it's just too many. So we'll say is mobile. So we'll do this opposite of this. So I guess I'm not going to be... no, we'll just use this. Whatever. We have to do it one way or the other, right?
And it shouldn't be void, it needs to be a bool.
Yeah, you're right. Bool. Thank you. Because it has to return a value. So, yeah, we'll do it as a not... does not equal... Oh, wait, yeah, I'm going to just redo this. I'm going to do this first before I permanently decide to do that.
What mobile platforms are we supporting?
All of them. So, well, here, let's see all of them here. So, if iPhone player, if application dot platform, actually, we'll just copy and paste it.
What was the other thing they had? Editor, that was the other
thing. So iPhone player, Android, for some reason it doesn't say player on that, BlackBerry player, maybe this will be faster. Metro player ARM, so that's Windows phone. And what else do we got? PSP2. Interesting. That's a funny name for the Vita, I would imagine. I think Sony might have a problem with that. So, let's see. Yeah, well, PSP2 has buttons, so we're not going to be using that touchscreen anyway. Xbox One, WP8. Yeah, I think that's everything. So I just need to get rid of this last line. And we need to put ors between all of these, which I forgot to put. So we're going to put an or. That's what those 2 vertical line thingies means. That means or. So if it's any of these things, return true, else return false. And now we can just do in here. Where did we have this before? Any key. There we go. So we'll do if not is mobile. If not is mobile, then we do this. Else we say for each touch in input dot touches if touch, so we only want this when a touch happens to go down. If touch dot phase dot equals touch phase dot began, then we do application dot load level title screen name. Now I think there was another place where we do a load level. Let's check it. Reset game. Actually, let's just do load level. No, I guess that's the only place that we do it. So when do we load the game level? I guess that's in another script. So let's see how we do that. We're going to go back into our scenes, level 1. Come on, level 1. Oh wait, yeah, thank you. Come on, tile screen. The other one. Load level on any key. There we go. It's a script called load level on any key. So we're going to actually just do the same deal here. We're going to game manager. Just going to copy and paste this whole section and put it into here. And then instead of tile screen name, we put in level name and level name.
We need our isMobile function. So copy that in, or make it static, or put it into a
let's put this
utility class or something.
Let's actually do something really fancy with it. Let's make it an extension. Let's make an extension for it. So we're going to create a C# script, and we're going to call this application extension methods. And I'm going to search C# extension methods. These are fun. So static void main. So we don't want to actually, this one's not going to be a mono behavior, so we're going to get rid of that. And I'm just going to, oh wait, that's not it. So we're going to do, so public static class application extension methods.
Namespace.
We don't need a namespace for it. I'm not going to do it. And I'm just going to copy and paste this so that I know what we're kind of looking like. So we use this string. We don't want to actually affect the string class. We want to affect the application class. Oh wait, I can't do that. That's right. Yeah, never mind. This isn't going to work. Because extension methods don't allow you to create static extension methods. So that's a bummer. Don't know why they put these really wonderful things in just one place in C#, but they did. So is my face still on the screen? I don't think it needs to be on the screen anymore. So let's not do my face on the screen. So what are we doing? So I guess we're just going to make this, I'm just going to make it, we're just going to be lazy and just do static, public static, bool isMobile. So we're going to hit save, and we're going to go to load level on any key, and we're going to use game manager dot isMobile. Save. Check to see if we have any compiler errors. Doesn't look like it. We're going to hit play, and actually I'm going to put my screen back on again, even though I just took it off. So we've got the title screen, and I touch and hold, and it did not reset the game. Well, actually, wait, we don't know that because that wasn't the proper test. We want to be here, die, and if I hold it down, and it still did it. What does that mean? I wonder if that's a problem with the Unity... Like, it might be a problem with the Unity remote thing. I'm going to just make sure that it is actually going through the code that we expect it to be going through, so let's find out. So we're going to do debug.log touched in load level on any key. File save, and then we're going to do the same thing on our game manager here.
You might want to print out touches.count also.
Sure, good call. So we're going to do and touched in game manager, and we'll go ahead and debug.log touch count plus input dot touch count, and we will do the same thing on this one. File save. Actually, we'll do save all. We'll hit play. We'll go to the console. So I touch and hold, and I got no message whatsoever. Not a good sign.
Oh, we are in the editor.
Oh, yeah.
So it's probably returning that it's in the editor as well as...
Yeah, okay. So...
We could add that to our...
Actually, no. Here's what we do. We go to Build Settings, and we change the platform to iOS or to Android. I'm going to go with iOS. Actually, I'm going to go with Android. I think it'll build faster. So we're going to do build, or not build, switch platform, and we're going to wait for a bar to go across the screen. And this may solve our problem. What the editor's doing right now is it's re-importing our assets into textures that are appropriate for Android. It still will run them on the machine here, so looks like we're done. We hit play now, and I touch the screen. Nope. Set up Android SDK path to make Android remote work. Well, at least it gave us that warning now. A little late, but at least it told us now. And that didn't work. I'm going to try iOS. Yeah, actually, because we're specifying player and application, I don't think that's going to work. So, our ismobile... Let's see if there's one more special one that supports the runtime platform dot...
What are you looking for?
I was just looking to see if there was like some sort of one for Unity Remote. Yeah, there's not. Alright, well, I'm just going to leave that for now. And assume that it will work once we actually... It's a tough assumption to make, but...
We can false the first if and force it to go into the touches just to see if the touches are working how we expect.
Alright, let's find out. Let's do it real quick.
Or put a return true.
Yeah, just... we'll just do one of these and one of these, and then do return
Didn't need
true.
A comment.
I guess that's true. We could just say return true at the top, and then it'll never get anywhere else, so it doesn't matter.
Although now there's going to be a warning about unreachable code.
That's fine. So we're going to touch and hold, and that didn't matter because this is the main game here.
We did print out the touch count, though. So
that's good. Yes, that is good. So
it was one.
And then we touch and hold, and it stayed there, good. We release, and we touch and hold, and it starts again. So that will work for us. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And actually, yeah, let's do that. So we're going to save. I'm going to go ahead and go into source tree, and we're going to check in all changes. Commit. Touch fix for switching levels too quickly. That's kind of what it is. All right. So, thank you for joining us today. Hopefully you learned some stuff. Sorry that I didn't get it working with the Android device here, but I didn't have the SDK installed, and it's required for the Android device thing to communicate. We'll go over that more on a future episode specifically about Android. Anyway, thank you for joining us tonight. If you have any questions, please email me, pushypixels@pushypixels.com. You can also tweet me at Drakfire, that's DRAKFYRE. And support the Kickstarter. It's awesome. It's totally awesome. And if you can't support the Kickstarter, or even if you can, tell everyone about it. Please. Spread the word. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great night, and we'll see you at 8:30 for some Windows stuff. It's going to be crazy. Got anything to add?
Have a good night until then.
All right,
then
cool.
Have a good night still.
All right, yes, just keep having a good time.